Look, you're demanding to be in this video. Hey everybody, I'm Gabby.
And I'm Mike.
And this is RVs with Gabby. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for watching our content. If you love our videos, please don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell so you never miss another walk around video. This week we are updating you on our travels. We were last in Camp Fimfo around San Antonio area in Texas, and the goal of the next couple trips was to get to Colorado. So we'll cover that in the next video, but this was kind of our drive there, and we took some pauses along the way. So where do we go first?
We went first to San Angelo, or just outside San Angelo, where we stopped for, I think, just a weekend.
Yeah, San Angelo, Texas. It was a couple hours trip. Maybe Mike can put the mileage down below. We were starting to think about calculating how many miles we've traveled completely on this trip. But San Angelo was pretty nice. We didn't get any footage of the campground, unfortunately, because it was a really quick turnaround time. It was not a bad campground. The camp host, or whoever was responsible for kind of maintenance of the campground, was super nice. Basically, I called the woman to check in. We got there. She said, pick a spot. And we pulled up and found one that we liked. We got settled, and then somebody came and introduced himself and said, like, hey, my fifth wheel is by the entrance. If you need anything, just let me know. Fairly quiet campground, right? There was no real...
Yeah, I think it was mostly a long-term, like, rental place. They just had some open spots for people like us traveling through.
Yeah, they did have a lot of cats. So if your dogs are very, if your dogs are prone to chasing cats, probably not a great idea to stay there, especially the spot we picked. I think the lady across the way was feeding the cats because they were definitely all hanging out by her rig. But anyway, we decided to explore San Angelo while we were there. We did get to go to the state park. It was the first time the dogs saw a bison, because they did have bison, and what else did they have there? Like cattle, buffalo, I can't remember.
The longhorns, but we didn't see them.
We didn't see the longhorns. It was less than $10 to get into that state park. I do know now that we've done a couple state parks to bring cash if you can, because we did have one instance where we didn't have cash and we had to leave the park to get it somewhere else and then come back. We went in the park. It was pretty much like desert, Great Plains kind of terrain, but the dogs had fun. We went on this nice little easy loop called the Red Dam Loop. Took a couple videos, and overall it wasn't too bad. It was a nice little hike. Yeah,
nice getting them more acclimated to something besides, swampy areas that we go hiking back in Florida.
Right. And then after that, we decided to take somebody's advice. There was a river walk that was really nice, and they suggested parking by the visitor center downtown. So if you do want to check out the San Angelo River Walk, definitely recommend to park at the visitor center. You can walk right through the building to the back. There's a really nice set of stairs with, like, they have really cool statues and a fountain, and overall it was a great afternoon to do that. So we just walked around on the water.
What was the art that we saw there? It was like the colorful, like, mural cars.
There was like some colorful mural cars, which reminded me of that artwork exhibit we missed we passed by it later on. But anyway, cool sculptures and things like that supporting, I'm assuming local artists. That was the first time Loki crossed a bridge over a river. He was super nervous and he got really, really weird about it. I think he could tell, like, this is not a permanent structure and what are we doing, Mom and Dad? But overall it was nice, and it was a nice afternoon, something free to do in town.
Not quite San Antonio.
Not quite San Antonio.
But not bad.
Yeah. But we are notorious for finding alternative fun that doesn't cost a bunch. Because I will tell you, the Riverwalk in San Antonio, we missed it. Mike has never been there. I went for work previously. It's expensive because it's a tourist
restaurants,
area.
bars, everything like that.
Yeah, so I think San Angelo Riverwalk is like a nice free alternative to actually walk by the river if you're looking to save money and just hang out for the weekend like we did.
Absolutely.
Passing through to get to our final destination. All right, our next stop is Lubbock, Texas. Now, Lubbock, Texas is very dusty, and we dealt with a lot of winds and a lot of just dirt flying around.
Yeah, lots of heavy wind gusts all the time. Every time I'd be walking the dogs, it'd be blowing into the little faces, and I'm like, I'm sorry, fellas.
I know, but we did stop at a KOA there. We stayed there for a week. What I loved about the KOA was there was an indoor pool. There was like a ping pong table and we played a little bit of chess. There was like a seating area you could play board games.
They had Connect 4, a nice big old Connect 4 too.
I think the indoor pool was kind of a neat little feature. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be inside.
No, and it had like a 90s retro vibe, so us being 90s babies, it just seemed really cool.
Yeah. The hot tub was out of order, which I was really sad about. But the store was open all day long. They had drinks, snacks, gifts you can buy, whatever. People were super nice there. They did have fully usable restrooms, showers. They were in good shape. Laundry wasn't too expensive.
No, but with the laundry there, if I'm not mistaken, they pre-charge your card. So it's like $2 to do dryer, $2 to do washers, but it would charge you $8 initially, and you'd get the money back the next day or so. So if you are going there with only a little bit of money in your checking account, just make sure you know that.
Yeah, I guess if you use a debit card over a credit card, just be aware of that. This is like the first time I think we started seeing the tent spots at the campgrounds.
Yeah, in the back corner I saw them.
Yeah, there were tent spots. There was also a couple of cabins you could rent. Not a bad area. Lubbock, we stopped there because it was on the way, and also because we have a Blue Compass location there, and I wanted to visit the team and shoot some videos at the store, so that there was like an alternative reason for us to choose Lubbock to stop. But it was a pretty good halfway point between San Angelo and then I think the next shot after that was to Raton, which was a bit longer than we normally travel, right?
Yeah. Before we move on, though, Lubbock did have like propane refills on site, dump station.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if every KOA has propane refills. I think we've seen them at most we've been to.
I think we have, and the dog parks, they all have dog parks. They're always small, but at least they had it. So that
wasn't too
nice.
bad.
Yeah. So what's your rating of Lubbock KOA?
I love the KOA. I wasn't really the biggest fan of the town, but we didn't explore too much of it. And with all the dust storms and all that every day, like we stayed inside pretty often.
I think overall, if you had to rate it based on campgrounds, it was 9 out of 10, right? Because you said the hot tub wasn't working.
Yeah.
So -1 for the hot tub, but but definitely recommend them if you're in that area, if you're headed to Lubbock for whatever reason. So after Lubbock, we decided we would finally start traveling more than 3 hours per stop. We were like, we just want to get to Colorado Springs. Let's drive a little bit further, see how it is. If you watched our earlier videos, if you've been watching our videos, I know at some point Mike had suggested something that we saw online, which was not to stay anywhere less than 3 days, not to drive any more than 300 miles in a day, and ideally keep your trip around 3 hours, right? It was like 3. And that was really useful for the first couple weeks, especially when we were getting our feet wet and learning how to set up, break down the RV, and also for Mike's sake in towing the RV. Excuse me, I'm sorry, Loki just has to be here right now. He interrupted this video, knocked over the camera barking at somebody, and now we put his bark collar on, and he's really upset because there's somebody parked in front of the camper.
The bark collar is in charge. He just doesn't know that.
Yeah, don't tell him. So
he's licking the mic.
So the next spot was Raton. It was almost a 5-hour drive.
New Mexico.
Yes, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Sorry, should clarify. We got out of Texas and moved on to New Mexico. We said goodbye to Texas. You have our hearts. But the Raton spot was pretty good. It was also a KOA. They had 30 and 50 amp hookups. They also had a small dog park. You could back in or pull through. Both the KOAs had people staying long term. They were kind of on the outskirts of the spots, you know what I mean? Like in Lubbock, it was the back row, and in Raton, it seemed like it was the back row as well, actually. There was like an alleyway in between the campgrounds and the front, which had a couple of cabins, and so we kind of walked the dogs up and down the alley sometimes. There was like a loop you could take around the camping spots where the tents were, right? They did have codes. Most of these spots have codes for the bathrooms and the laundry rooms and things like that, but I only used the bathroom once on our way out. It was a clean facility, right?
Yeah, I showered there a couple times. It was fine. They cleaned it every single day.
Okay, good. There was a dump station on site, propane on site. This was the second time that we got hail, right?
Yeah, it was a hailstorm like the second day we were there.
So we got hail in Louisiana, and then we got hail again in Raton.
Why do we get hailstorms only?
It's not a hailstorm.
That's all hail.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. I started filming, I was like, this is all hail.
And for future videos, we got hail again twice since then. So we just somehow, the hail has followed us. And I never Googled like what the weather has to be like to get hail. It just feels like it's a lot more.
Has to be where we're at.
Yeah, it has to be where the McDonald's are at. That's exactly what it is. So this was where we finally started seeing mountains, and we were like super excited even driving towards them. Sugarite State Park was down the road in Raton. So we decided to take the dogs and go for a hike. This is where we drove into the park, went to check in, and what happened?
Well, apparently you need cash because they only take cash, and what we did not have on us was cash. So we took a little U-turn, turned around, went to the nearest store, got some. What did we get? The dill pickle sunflower seeds.
Yeah, we got dill pickle sunflower seeds so we could get cash back at the gas station. And bring it over to pay. They did have like a slot where you put the money in an envelope and you put it in there, and in exchange you take like the receipt and you tape it to the inside of your windshield. The woman had said, look, if you normally were coming on any other day, you could probably get away with just entering the park, but there was some sort of competition going on where there was going to be rangers checking
Fishing
those.
competition, yeah.
I think that was the fishing competition, right. So we did this 6-mile loop. It's called the Opportunity Trail. The opportunity for Gabby to be really unhappy after the 4th mile. Mike actually had suggested, hey, let's do the loop backwards because it looks like there's a big incline at the end. That should have been my first, I mean, I did consider it. I'm thinking, if we were going down, we're going to have to come back up. So how does that work? That we do it backwards and there's no incline.
At least it was a beautiful view.
It was absolutely beautiful.
What was it? We were right on the border of Colorado. I think where we were hiking, you were able to see Colorado on the other hill, like across from us.
Yeah, I think we have some footage of that, so we'll put it in here for you. So we are in Raton, New Mexico. We found a 6-mile trail called, the Opportunity Trail. Yeah. And just started about 15 minutes ago. This will be the longest and tallest trail that the dogs have ever done. Not saying much because obviously being from Florida, this is the highest peak they've ever been to. So we're about 20 minutes in, but it's beautiful. The weather's perfect. Just a heads up, bring cash. It is $10 for a day pass. We got to the gate, realized it. They didn't take cards, had to go back to the gas station. Picked up some sunflower seeds to get cash back, but yeah. Oh, we're at a fork. This trail is very steep. Great. No problemo. Do people take their horses over here? I take you, horsey girl. Go ahead, go. Go ahead of me.
About halfway through the hike, we did come across the lake where the competition was going on, so it was very pretty. To be honest, if we had another couple days there, we probably would have went and had a little picnic just by the lake. We don't really fish, but there were people obviously fishing for the competition.
You're demanding to be in this video, and you're about to hit the camera. So
you're in the video already.
Calm down. Rolling hills, rolling mountains at that point.
Yeah, well, they're rolling mountains.
Really nice views. Raton was a small town. Again, we tend to shop at Walmart, bring all our stuff back to the camper, and keep to ourselves in the camper. And we always look for free or inexpensive things to do versus kind of the major tourist stuff. So if you've enjoyed this video...
wait. I have to bring it up. I forget the supermarket I went to, but it's the first time I saw an entirely carpeted supermarket. I should have got footage of that. It was kind of interesting. Is that a New Mexico thing? Let us know in the comments down below.
Maybe it's just a small town thing.
Maybe.
An old town thing. I don't know. But Raton was a good stomping ground to stop at. And I think they do have a lot of people coming through because it gets you up to Colorado Springs.
Up towards the Rockies and everything.
Yeah, so if I'm pronouncing Raton wrong, I'm sorry, but I definitely Googled it, and that's the way to say it. So we're sticking with that. But yeah, if you've enjoyed this video and this style vlog, we will definitely have more to come to tell you more about our trips as we got to Colorado Springs and beyond. So anything to add before we say goodbye?
Nope, look forward. Oh, I guess actually, yes, I do look forward to adding some other style videos as well, like just hiking vlogs, things like that. So in the future, there might be even different things that we start posting besides the RV walkarounds, these sit-down style travel vlog updates, and we might start doing more interactive things like in the middle of while we're doing something.
True. And the last thing I will say is that with that, we are considering changing the channel name. I know. But RVs with Gabby was great and applicable when it was just walkarounds with just Gabby. Now that Mike is in the channel and we are doing this full time, we feel like the name kind of keeps us cloistered in that RV space. And we are living in an RV, so it's not inaccurate. Mm-hmm. But we would like to bring you other content about travel, about living in an RV, about alternative lifestyle that doesn't involve a white picket fence and a house with 2.5 kids. So if that sounds like something that makes sense, I would love to know your feedback in the comments, what you think about a name change. And on the community, we did post on our page a couple of options that we came up with for possible name changes. So that may be something that comes to the future. In the future is a channel rebrand. But for now, I'm Gabby, and this is RVs with Gabby. And until next time, happy
Happy camping.
camping.